We'll have the pledge of allegiance. Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our neighbors.
Okay, this meeting of Weston County Borough Council, the regularly scheduled monthly meeting, 7/18/2013, which has been rescheduled from 7/6/2013, will come to order. The meeting will be audio taped as well as videotaped. At this time, I'll take public comment.
Henry Morse, Arthur Street. I'd like to know if there's an ordinance on trailers to live in on property. I thought there were, years back, there was an ordinance drawn up that there would be no trailers brought in to live.
You talking about travel trailers or?
A travel trailer that is being brought in to live in as a permanent
No,
resident.
there is no ordinance to my knowledge for that. I mean, that was part of our, when we looked at the zoning, that was gonna be part of that, but there's no ordinance per se. Is there? Karen, would you like to expand upon that?
I don't know the date. I have notes at home.
I know,
Yeah, there was
Okay,
one
well-
passed.
Then we'll look.
I would like to know what
Okay.
it is.
And I think there's more than one.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they're not being lived in as much as they're being in a clubhouse. And I hate to say it, you know, they're parked on berm right of ways and it creates a little bit of a squeeze for people. All right, but yeah, we'll look into it and see.
I think there was a limit on the number of days it could be parked there. I mean, we can't, if somebody has people coming in from out west or something, you know, whatever.
Yeah, you know.
And that's fine.
I'm thinking there was like a number of days.
Right, but I don't want it to be an alternate housing in West Virginia.
Well, that's what I'm afraid this is
Yeah.
gonna be.
All right, we'll look into it. Thanks, Henry. Next comment?
Jim Zabisky. I'm speaking on the behalf of Ann Jones. She came before council here a couple months ago about a street light in front of her property.
Yes.
And I got a bill here under the right to know from May 22nd for $1,667.32. For a cost for pole replacement and wire for new street light as residential street and North Crescent Drive. Now, Ann lives over here, residential Crescent Street. There's no pole and there's no light. And it's almost 2 months now that this bill was paid.
No light has been installed yet.
And it's okay here by Bernie Senior and Michelle.
I have to take a payment of the bill, but I assumed that it was being billed to the proper location.
All right, the other thing is the Smith property. Is there any funds recouped on that?
We received $2,219 even from Secure Settlement for payment of liens to that property.
Was that for full amount?
Yes, that's everything that I had record of, I submitted to them, and that would, they sent back the full amount that I requested.
Very good, thank you.
Next comment?
Mickey Lang on Garfield Street. I have a question for Officer DeHagen. Do you report lights, street lights out?
Yes, we're doing a street light inventory here in the coming week. We have requested.
Okay, because I have two that are out.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole count of those and locations to turn in.
Okay, I'll give you the addresses after the meeting.
Something more Petra McKinley Street. I wanted to address something that we had a family reunion here in this fire hall recently, and we had a bunch of little kids here that were over playing on the playground. When they came back, we were picking ticks off of them all over the place. And I looked at your mulch. Your mulch is an untreated mulch. I think you probably got it off of Morris's. I'm not positive, but that would be my guess. When you put in untreated mulch, it is laden with ticks. And ticks are a problem regardless, because this summer being as hot and damp as it has been, we're going to have a problem, but in untreated mulch, it is much worse. So you're gonna have to check into having that mulch treated.
Yeah, and, I just hate to, yeah, you're right, but I hate to treat that mulch when there's kids playing.
I understand what you're
That's what
saying,
you
but
need
the
to
thing
die.
is, it's, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place,
Right.
because you really can't have these ticks on the kids. I mean, it is, you kind of are.
I mean, you do it in your backyard too.
You
and
may,
it's-
you may be further ahead just to take the mulch out and get something else. I don't know what you want to put in there, but you definitely do not want to use untreated mulch. So,
All right.
and I
Thank
wonder
you.
if
Oh.
anything was done or looked at about the alley and the river gushing out and all the dirt that comes
Not
out.
to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
But if there's a company in Pittsburgh that does recycled rubber, and they make like a mulch that's made out of football by.
I mean, I've seen it on TV, but I'm really unfamiliar with that.
Yeah, it's like the same. So that's something to look into.
That's Clement.
Clyde Klein, Garfield Street. I need to replace some sidewalks. Do I need a permit to replace the ones that's busted up?
I don't think you did because that's
Already
that's one of those
existing?
borough property that the residents have to take care of. I would say no. I think you're doing everybody a favor by doing that.
Now, if I want to do this myself, can I dump some sand and gravel out in front of my house to mix this cement up? As long as
Like in the
it's,
berm, to be
Right.
hauled away.
yeah, like
Yeah.
right off the road. Can I just,
Yeah, just so it's.
Yeah.
Oh, you want it to have it delivered?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just so it's not sitting there for 2 months and.
oh, I mean, whatever it takes. I mean, I'm not going to do it, it cools down, but that's
Oh, I don't blame you.
one
But
of
no,
my
I don't
projects.
see any problem with that. If
Come
somebody
on.
complains about it, there you are trying to fix up your property, if they complain about it,
All right,
tell them to come to council.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next comment?
Michael Hawley, Butler Road. Has anybody from council viewed the property at the old service station lately?
Yeah, no, not lately, like I said. No.
I know we're on top of that,
It's
the
not-
borough.
Yeah, I still have to take photos of that to send with the letter.
Well, I would like to present one to you,
Oh,
okay?
which is, it's a letter?
No, it's just the photo,
Okay.
okay?
No, come on, I'm supposed to do that. I have taken photos, but I want updated photos.
And as you will see on this, this is where the barriers are sitting,
It's
the
a shame
asphalt,
that that's
and
not the
No, I'll,
And- go.
Andrew said he sent the certified letter he sent to Butler Petroleum was returned. It wasn't returned as undeliverable, it was just not signed for a received letter.
They don't want
what's registered letter?
Yeah.
Return.
They didn't sign for it. Yeah, they refused it, I guess.
Somebody picks it up.
it. You shouldn't be sitting up there.
And could I please ask the borough with the Public Works to possibly, as an emergency plan in the future, if these barriers would fall inside the culvert, I think we need an emergency backup plan to pull the debris out because of flooding, because that will cause a backflush, as it did in the past, washed out Butler Road.
I don't think we don't have the machinery to pull those Jersey barriers out there. We'd
Like
have to call it a tow truck, probably.
I
You know
mean,
what I
do we have a backhoe?
Yeah, no. You know, I'm not saying it's
Right.
substantial enough to pull those out or not, maybe it is.
Okay. I would just hope you guys could look into that because it's gonna be a matter of time with especially some of the rains that we get. It seems like we're
Plus-
getting heavy rains.
Plus the soft weather's just softening up the asphalt.
Okay, and I know in the past, people were questioning about the shade tree committee, about having trees removed. Now, on the website, on the West Canton Borough website, it has authorization to have any tree removed must be granted by the committee prior to removal. Now, do you see where there would be confusion, where people who own their property, they think they have to come to council to get approval for that if they want to cut a tree down on their own property?
No.
Read
It's
that
on-
again.
It says authorization to have any tree removed must be granted by the committee prior to removal.
No, that's wrong.
That should be any tree with
Can I
burr.
present this to you?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that may be part of that. This is kind of bringing it along. And you know what, that may be in our amendment. The reading of that amendment, that may be in there. What was that? That could be.
And that's all I have.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Next, comments? Carol Augustine,
Okay,
Hunter Jessen.
A few issues, and I see the invisible mayor is here again. What was that, well, first of all, why is a non-elected official sitting up at the council meeting table?
He's a police officer.
Doesn't matter, shouldn't be up there.
And, I mean, is that bad of a thing?
Yeah, it's just
What
that
if,
should be
what if
elected
people have
officials.
questions for the officer?
He could sit over there.
Well, yeah, he can sit there too.
Well, then we'll sit up there this time. Okay, so what was ever taken care of with the kids vandalizing on Cleveland Street? Now, it's coming up on a year, and I've asked about it a half a dozen times now. I can't hear what he's saying.
The sheriff commissioner, we're gonna come here to you.
Oh, okay. What was ever done with the kids vandalizing on Cleveland Street that the state police were called in about? And then I asked at the next council meeting, because we have such an issue with kids running loose after curfew, and at that point, the solicitor at that time said that the West Canton ordinance could be enforced with a copy of the report from the state police. It'll be a year in August, if not longer, and there's still been nothing done. And I asked about it, and asked about it, and asked about it, and it's gonna be checked into. It appears that there isn't a whole lot done between meetings. So, Officer Gahagan, since you're here, what is the status on that?
I can't tell you what the state police investigation yielded. I mean, their investigations are separate from ours. Information was transmitted to us with regard to juveniles that were out doing after-hour times of the curfew law. And that's not specifically just to that area, but it's for over the entire town. We brought the attention to the solicitor with regard to trying to be able to enforce the current juvenile violation. It needs to have some issues that are taken care of, and he was checking into the portion of how to make that change so that it's going to be current and valid so that we can enforce it, because as the current curfew ordinance stands, the difficulty of trying to make all that information complete, you know, and be able to prosecute anybody, the violation in itself is very nominal. And so at that point in time, they needed to try to make an adjustment there so that it would hold those parents more responsible for the actions of their kids being out and after the curfew hours.
What do you mean gathering information? You mean the kids' names and addresses? If you see them out running the streets?
As far as being able to have the ordinance itself changed so that it can be more enforceable.
What is our curfew time?
Okay?
So, in other words, nothing's gonna be done, even though it's a specific incident and the state police did write them up because the kids came and admitted to the vandalism. on a specific
Have
date.
you read the curfew ordinance?
Not lately, no.
Okay. Whenever we're complete here, I can go ahead and get a copy of the ordinance out and I can show it to you and show you exactly how we have to be able to complete that process to be able to prosecute a case against them.
Okay, then why couldn't the mayor have told me this a year ago whenever I started asking questions?
That information was actually given whenever you asked the original question, that the ordinance had to be changed to be able to be more enforceable.
Well, then why
I
wasn't
can't-
something stated at a council meeting? I guess that goes back to you, Cliff.
Well, the information was told directly to you, so I didn't know that we needed to have it brought to the attention of the council because it was a question that you asked directly.
So you were told directly of the ordinance?
I know about the ordinance. I've known about the ordinance, that there is an ordinance. But every month I ask about it and Bernie says, oh, I have to talk to Gahagan, or has Gahagan contacted you? Supposedly, Gahagan, you were given the information and,
I don't have the power to change the ordinance. so-
no, to call me about it.
But it's been brought up in council that it was a state police issue
Yes,
months ago, I think.
like the council meeting right after it happened. But I asked Chase at that time, and the state police cannot enforce the Weskataning Borough ordinances. That's when I asked Chase, can our police officers enforce our ordinance on information from the state police because the kids were written up because they admitted to the vandalism, because they were vandalizing cars and smashing flower pots and doing a bunch of kid things up in my block. It was a specific incident, and Chase said, yes, our police can enforce our ordinances with a report from the state police that have specific kids' names and
All right,
times.
so what's the bottom line here?
Basically to enforce the ordinance, I mean, unless we get out and read it through, verbatim out here, a portion of it is you have to request permission from the mayor by writing. So if I'm a parent, I would have to contact the mayor, request in writing, my child would be allowed to be out after the 10 o'clock time limit, so on and so on and so on. At that point in time, if we have one out, then a letter.
That didn't come into play here, right?
Yeah, a letter needs to be sent and all the rest of that kind of stuff. So they get so many warnings prior to any enforcement that can be done here.
So this
if was
vandalism
a first
would've been a
offense,
warning.
like it was explained before, if this was the first offense, then you can't, issue citations against that.
That needs to be rewritten to the point where if they're cited by Pennsylvania State Police, that's not considered a warning. So
If they're cited by
that's
anybody,
bad.
it
That's
should be, but
bad.
we can't enforce it
All right. Yeah,
the way it is because we have to give X
rewrite
amount
that.
of warnings.
At that point, that would be a warning for them vandalizing.
At least it would be something. If the kids realize, hey, you know what, you really can't be out after 10 o'clock running the street like hoodlums. And word gets out, it might curb a couple
Oh, I
of
agree.
them.
I agree.
But what I'm saying is whenever an issue is brought to council and there's progress on it, something needs to be said to the people that ask the questions instead of, I don't know anything about it.
All right.
Well, when you originally asked the question, I talked directly to you about it, and I told you the exact same thing that we
You
had.
never talked directly to me about it.
You brought the question to me, and whenever.
I
we
did
were
not
speaking
bring the
here-
question to you. I asked Bernie at a meeting. I've never
Again.
talked to you about this.
Again, we had this conversation off to the side, and I'm just explaining to you, it's the same that we had
Okay,
last
all right.
time. We had.
We're going round and round and round here. We're gonna have to look at that.
Okay. Central tax. I know they went out of business, so to say, but there was an article a couple of weeks ago in the paper that municipalities could apply for the rest of the money that they were owed by central tax. Have we done that?
No, we're not.
Okay.
The deadline for that would be,
I don't know. It didn't say a deadline.
can you
Call
look into
Jean
that?
and ask her about that, Carol. Jean might
They're
know
out of
about
business.
that. She isn't here tonight, I don't know where she is. She'll like.
And was the timesheet brought forth for the worker that was working on the street on April 30th? That was questioned at the last meeting?
No, I didn't.
We went 4-0 on that date of time. He was paid by the 4-0 at that particular time, at 6:30 a.m. And Bernie Senior said it was a legitimate 4-0 duty.
It was absolutely not a legitimate
It was a
borough
vote.
issue. He had the turnoff stick. I know there's a fancy name for it. The big turnoff stick. He wasn't fixing the road. He wasn't doing anything like that. I saw him. He had the big turnoff stick. It was either on or off. I don't know at that point if he was.
Yeah, you're talking about, you got the shut off.
The key.
Yeah, the big shut-off stick or whatever the heck it is. So no, it was not a borough issue. And if the water authority has an issue and has to dig up the street, the water authority is liable to fix the street back to the way they found it before they dug it for the break. And that shouldn't be the borough taxpayers paying that because the water authority doesn't have the money to pay.
Is that, do you know if that's been brought up at water authority meeting?
No, that hasn't, but I know that the water authority has paid to have I know I wrote the bill out 2 weeks ago for them to pay a paver contractor to come in and fix the water breaks that was spots across the road. We paid them, we've done that before.
But that's the
I
payment
don't know.
company, that's not a payroll issue. We
Right,
have to say.
payroll issue, that's
I mean,
Bernie's call. I don't
the
have
rest of the
that.
taxpayers should be outraged.
I
at
understand the
this.
issue 100%.
And the only reason I know it's that specific day at that specific time is because I had to be at work in Saxonburg at 7 o'clock. That's why I know it was at
We're
6:30.
gonna have to table that and see what's going on there.
Well,
And build the water authority.
Good idea.
okay, the next issue
All right.
is,
5 minutes.
well,
Friendly reminder, everybody has to adhere to that.
who has the right, who gave authorization for the old fire truck to be out driving around on July 6th? The old fire truck, that by the way, the taxpayers are still paying full coverage on that truck, and I demand that to be taken off the borough policy because it cannot be used to fight fires at anyone's individual house. There was a male driver, I don't know who it was, and a little kid in the passenger seat. First of all, I think that's not shouldn't be, that shouldn't be. On a Saturday afternoon, it was 20 after 8 when I saw them. They went up Cleveland Street, and the truck was spitting and coughing. It's a wonder it made it.
That's a fire company issue.
Okay, well, here's the thing, the fire, okay, but
That's
the,
separate from, as well. You know
no,
as
wait,
well as I do.
no. The fire hall meetings are closed meetings, so I can't go to the fire hall.
Yes, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yes, you can.
But it's taxpayer money that's paying for that. But the public needs to know that truck went up Cleveland Street with a large male individual driving, a little kid. I waited around till it came back around. It came around, they went somewhere and picked up another individual, and that person got out of the fire truck with a case of beer. That has got to stop. I mean, isn't anybody else upset by these kinds of things?
I saw that. I saw it.
Carol, we don't see that. We're at work, I mean.
This was Saturday afternoon at 8:30.
Okay, well, all right.
At night or-
I don't drive around Muscatine looking for things either.
Neither was I was going to a friend's house to pick up my
I saw,
sunglasses.
because the only reason I know it is because
You don't bring
I
that to my
haven't seen that
attention.
old truck out in ages, and that's what I said to him, oh my
know we still
goodness,
had
the old
Yeah, I mean, if you don't bring it to my attention, you can bring it to my attention, don't jump down my throat. Okay, we'll look into it.
Well, then, the borough,
This is the first I've heard about it.
okay, well, the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay full coverage on a truck that can't fight fires at our house.
Well, Henry, can you not take care, can the trustees take care of that, the fire truck? Are you not a trustee?
What?
Are you a trustee?
Yes.
Can you not look into that in the fire department and see if we can get that off our policy? Because I'd be more than happy to take that truck off our policy.
It was taken off the policy when I was on council, and it was put back on.
Well, I did not put it back on, and nobody on council that I.
I don't know,
I
I think we
would've
all know who put it back on.
But
Well,
Henry,
we all
you're in the
know
fire
who put it back
department.
on.
Can you do that?
I'll go over tomorrow and see if it's on, and I'll get it taken off.
As a
Thank you, Henry.
trustee, thank you, Henry.
Appreciate that.
And I have the paperwork together to bid out the insurance. I made copies of the deck pages. All we have to do is call and get the loss runs, and they need a list of the driver's licenses, people that drive borough equipment, that includes the fire hall because of the fire trucks, to put it out for bid. Because obviously, nobody else is going to do it.
Any other comments?
And did we get the money in for the playground? Or did we get all our paperwork submitted for the playground?
For 60 60 days from June 30th to get it in, and there's a couple things that still need to be gathered up and sent in, and we'll have it in.
And are we bidding out streets for paving this year?
Yes.
Do we know what streets?
No, we did not yet.
And can it be
Already got one on the
coordinated
list,
with
guys.
the next project that the water authority does? Because it's not like there aren't connections here on council with the water authority. Because last year, if I wouldn't have said something about Northern Avenue, it would have got paved and then ripped up. So could we maybe coordinate between the groups?
Thank you.
With all due respect, I really appreciate everything you've done for the insurance, and I totally agree we need to bid it out. But to our credit, I have not had any of the insurance information binders because the auditors have had it, so we haven't been able to do anything about it.
Well, and no
And
one
if we really
contacted me to
need
get
that
them either, but I made the copies that we need, and I made a couple of
Because
phone
every
calls.
month it's like, is the audit done, is the audit done, it's almost done, it's almost done. So, I mean.
Well, if
we
things
know
weren't
that-
so completely screwed up with the audit,
And I fully understand that.
then it would have been done, because we would like to be done, believe me.
But Carol, are you
Don't
allowed to
blame
make
you.
copies of those documents?
Just saying,
Yeah.
like,
To
that's
keep
work
them,
that we
or do you
can
turn
do.
them all copies back over to the
I'm not
council?
keeping the insurance stuff.
No, the copies of any materials that you make as an auditor, I'm asking a question, you know, I'm just curious. Are you allowed to keep copies of any of the documents?
It's gonna be all with the audit stuff.
Okay, so you turn it all back over to Carly when you're done with it?
Well,
including
yeah.
copies made. Okay, well, I just want to make sure, because I wasn't real clear on what the auditor's role was with regards to that. You said you made copies, so I was curious if you had other copies.
Yes, Borough Code states that copies or facsimiles can be made by the auditor.
Well, when we have things to present to council, yeah, we're gonna make copies of the invoices.
That is correct,
For
but none
issues.
can be retained by anyone.
I know that.
Okay, well, we're just bringing it up, you know, so everybody knows that.
Don't worry, I know my job.
Okay. Any other comments?
May I just, I forgot about it's about the ordinance, about the sign. Okay, I have a question about the signage. Is there an application if somebody who wants to erect a new sign, is there one available?
Under the new lit ordinance, the sign ordinance,
December of 2011, yes.
you want a copy of that?
No, if I came to you and I wanted an application to get it, is there an application available?
It states it in the ordinance.
Because it states it in the ordinance, and honestly, even though I did comply with the ordinance that we have, I went with it, but I could have put a jumbo sign in front of my business.
I saw it.
I mean, but I complied with the ordinance.
Good.
But Cliff, what I'm saying, if I wanted to, I could have,
It was wide open, you think there's
no,
loopholes?
because you don't have an application available.
Is
Do you
there-
see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I could have went and I could have put a big digital billboard in and nobody could have stopped me because I could have went under my pre-existing sign, but I did not take advantage of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any
And
other comments?
I do have a copy of the ordinance too.
Now, is it your own copy?
This is my copy, but if you want to see it, you know, I could
Bring
read
it up, let me take a
It
look.
says application right in there.
Yeah.
All right, this time I'll need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Michelle, is there a second? Second by Mrs. Bennett, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mayor's report. Yes, no, maybe? Turn that into that secretary, we got this.
There were the following arrests: 2 domestic assaults, 2 for simple assaults, 3 for harassment, 5 for disorderly conduct, 2 DUIs, and 11 traffic arrests. Due to calls received to the department, police made contact with 2 individual groups of persons. They've been doing door-to-door calls, one group was selling cleaning supplies and one group was looking for home improvement jobs. If there are any further issues, please contact the police department.
Yeah.
Committee reports.
I had a question.
Okay. Right, go ahead. You're gonna-
Can't hear.
Eddie,
No, I
how
can't.
about
Speak up, we can't hear
speaking
you.
up?
For Pat Witowski there, what was he doing? Oh, I thought we were gonna.
Anybody
run about this control pipe and stuff.
It hasn't even been for you.
You know, remember the last time I questioned them about, you mentioned that they're gonna start doing their own work.
I don't even know what it was. You can't.
Now that we're on.
We just gave it, we got it ready.
Yeah, and this is on committee reports, on public works, we're down to 2 guys. You know, that's not good. And we talked about, okay, let's,
Yeah, I know some good guys.
yeah, let's hire some summer help, and let's do some,
It's over now.
job for guys, and we haven't done anything yet. So we have to do something. 2 guys, I don't think is enough.
No, I mean, Jim and I worked together, and Gold and I.
Okay, Josh, bye.
I mean,
I
what,
mean, it did take us all summer.
Why are we paying?
that's gonna be worse.
We'll get there.
No, I know. You need to put him back on. Isn't that
That's all right.
grand?
That's not bad.
I just don't know if the guys know how to run these.
Yep. Can we ask about that?
Any other committee reports?
They do, they're paying more work with the grass fire truck.
I received that phone call. No, you received the phone call. And I rode down there, on that street, North Crescent. Stopped in a number of places, talked to a number of people. And there were, bags here and there, brush here and there. And I never could find 416 where the dresses are off the road. I drove around a couple times slow and it didn't look good. So, I called Bernie and said, hey, we have some complaints from, brush and grass still sitting there. And I rode down past it the next day and it won. So I don't know about 416 specifically, but the places I looked at,
It's all Harrison Street.
Yeah.
Harrison.
yeah,
And it's right there where Jack on used to live, and maybe go around the corner and close to Harrison's.
so the ones I saw were good.
That's something.
And I talked to a bunch of people there, they were nice.
We have that four complaints.
From their concern.
Well, okay, one's like the main intersection.
The lights,
Yeah,
or just where our streets border
Yeah.
up the road.
Yeah, they haven't been swept along. They're gravel.
With that.
Now, this came from the roofer plan.
Are these people calling you?
Yeah. And one was, from Mrs. Boy in the roofer plan. This was like for Bernie. She was concerned about the fire hydrants that they had installed in the roofer plan. And then she wanted to know, like, whenever you turn in the roofer plan, we used to take care of that. Whenever you turn in, we cut that front part there.
Left.
Yeah, well, yeah. And whenever we go up on one side, right side, going up on. Yeah, we cut that. I didn't know if that would be ours.
Yeah, is that borough right away or not?
I don't know, Bart, we always took care of it, so I don't know. And then,
The one on the left, is that the one that Mike Polly always asks us about?
Yeah, I believe so.
well, I don't know if it's down where Mike's talking about, but this is across the creek.
No, it's on, it's in the Avenue side of Christmas.
Yeah. Yes, it's not on Mike's side.
Yeah.
Across. Now, this is on Hill Avenue.
This is another one, or?
Yeah.
Neil Avenue?
Yeah, we cut Hill Avenue and Ford, like, down cutting the burn along there. And taking care of the plywood lumber, you know, the whole way down.
Yeah, because that is a borough right away.
Right.
But the thing is, it's in people's backyards.
None of them were, yeah,
You're talking about the banks.
and then somebody questioned about, I don't know, yeah, this would be, didn't say that, I don't know if it's all, or what, the catch basins throughout now.
Yeah, and that's what she's concerned with.
That's me.
Okay. Yeah, you just mentioned the catch basin. I don't know if it's throughout town, it could be the whole town.
I mean, we have repaired some, I mean, we had that one on Off Street.
Well, I mean, this is cleaning out.
Okay, oh, not dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Clean.
Cleaning. And then, I guess I have one, myself. It's about that, you know, I gave a copy to Carly about the Obama law.
We can't hear him.
Obamacare law. Now, how will that affect our employees?
Well,
With all our employees doing
That's
well,
250 and above.
they extended that to, you know, for individuals, this year's the deadline, they extended it
Huh?
to companies to next year, because it's
Right.
so unclear.
It has to be 50
It
or
could very well
more
impact
employees.
us.
I reached out to Jeff Lyle.
That's what I heard.
Well, see, I
Last
did
summer,
too.
I reached out to Jeff Lyle's office and said,
I don't
you
even
know,
know.
we're looking into
Jim
budget,
said,
can you
Jim Stone.
direct me to somebody that can
Put
talk
them
to,
out.
might be able to get some information to this community so we know.
Yeah, it's
And
Obama
he-
anyhow.
Yeah, he said he had somebody get in touch with me and that never happened, so.
Did he? Yeah. I got the stuff over my Kelly. Yeah, Carly got it.
Mike, Kelly got it for you? See, I reached out to Jeff Lyle.
So Jeff Powell couldn't even give you any kind of an
They
answer?
didn't have anything distinct, you know, for us. But I do know it's like 30 hours above it, so full time.
Well, I may have the water.
So I do know that, but I,
There's
there's something about reviewing it though.
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
That is like,
Monday
now
night.
like where my daughter works,
Yeah, that's what
they
he
cut
meant.
her hours down 30, and that's all like she can work.
that's happened to a lot of companies.
That's, you know, like right now, that's all she can work is 30. And that's part-time.
Well, if we have to do that, then we'll have to do that here too.
Yeah. And from what I got from it was that you really do not have to participate in it. You pay, you know,
Yeah, you'll be fine.
then you pay it, and maybe pay the fine to opt out.
And the fine will be less than the insurance,
Yeah, the
is
fine
what
will
you're
be less
saying.
than the insurance.
So this is still going back and forth though?
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, they're saying that the fine will be less than what the actual insurance, because
Right.
that's what they expect a lot of the small companies to do.
Right. Yeah, small company. But, 30 hours, it's like you can be full time, but that's all you can, they'll allow part-time to work, 30 hours, that's it.
So if that, yeah, if that's the point, then, you know, we could drop the two workers down to 30, hire somebody else and keep them at 30.
All our employees.
I think
Yeah,
council
true.
needs to look, I think we need to look at all our options for that. I think we need to, if we have the ability to do it, or spend more money, I don't, but I just look at all our cases for sure.
I'm glad you brought that up, that bucket earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, unfinished business. I have one thing that was brought to our attention by various residents on McKinley Street about the parking on McKinley Street due to the new ice cream store. I've called Chuck a couple times, left a couple messages, and he's not returned my call. I stopped there at the store, and does anybody know if that's closed or not? Roots Appliances.
Never seems to be open.
Their store hours there doesn't say it's closed, or whatever. I called there a couple times. So I'll draft a letter to Chuck and send it to his residents. Maybe he'll read this in today's paper and, okay, Chuck, call me. Thank you. Yeah, call Cliff. anything else on unfinished business? I haven't talked to them yet about that taco stand thing.
It's gone.
It's gonna say.
It's been going
Yeah,
now.
they
I
moved
think
in front of
they're
84
busy
lumber.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why. I haven't seen it sitting there. I've seen it out and about with their young workers. I need to talk to the owners. You know, I mean, it was over here in front of,
84.
yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been down here
I know, but,
probably
you know,
3 or 4 weeks
but,
now.
So, good.
They're up on their.
Out
Good.
of sight, out of mind.
Good,
Yeah,
yeah.
they've been up at Walmart too, I've seen them over there.
Yeah, they're up on their transient business retailer.
The one downtown is swamped.
Okay, but it wasn't that they weren't paying, it was the eye appeal or lack thereof. And one more thing, let me write this down. And, okay, unfinished business, audit. Can I have an update on that, Carol?
We are almost
Like a
done.
deadline?
At your next regular meeting, we will have it done and we can set a date that is acceptable to everyone to present the audit.
Why can't you do it at the next meeting?
Do you want the meeting to be 2 hours long?
Why would it be?
Because there's issues that need brought up.
Well, our prior team of auditors, when they turned the audit in, had a regularly scheduled
Well,
for a council
we're
meeting.
choosing not to
They
do
gave
that.
us a list of issues that we need to address. Why can't that be not done now?
Because we are requesting a special meeting.
Well, just because you request a special meeting doesn't mean you get a special meeting. I mean, why should this change from the prior audits?
There are things that need to be brought out in the public, not just turned in and slid under the
It's
table.
not gonna be slid under the table, we'll address them. That's what we want done, that's what was done in the prior, and we never had any problem with that. I mean,
Problem
it
is,
sounds to
issues
me
have
like it's
not
gonna
been
be
addressed.
sensationalized. You know, it's.
No,
it's
it
that-
means that the issues were not addressed previous. When we handed in the papers last year, you guys asked a couple questions because there were 7 or 8 pages of issues. And 90% of those have not been addressed, and
Well-
there are new issues.
Well,
So,
include those in the new issues and turn those in with the audit next meeting.
well, we'll go, no. At the next meeting, we will set the date.
No, you don't
Because
run
it's not
council,
done.
Carol,
It's not,
all right?
it's not completely
West
done.
County is not run by that side of the table, okay?
Well, it's
If you
obviously
wanna
not run by that side.
Well, run for council and get on council. You didn't even run.
I'm an elected auditor, you can't
Now
hold two
you are.
positions.
Yeah, now you are. But you didn't even run. You haven't run in the past. Okay, so you can't demand that of council, okay? The audit's gonna be turned in, next regularly scheduled meeting with a list of concerns.
No, at the next scheduled meeting, we will tell you exactly when it will be done.
Exactly what?
We will tell you exactly when it will be done.
It will be done at the next council meeting, you said.
No, I said at the next council meeting, we will pick the date that is acceptable for everyone.
Well, no, next council meeting will be acceptable for everyone. If someone wants to,
We'll try to have it done by then.
okay, I mean, we're going on 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I
And it
mean,
was 7 months till we paid payroll taxes, so we're good.
Well, you know, and then, you know, our prior team of auditors, they were done in 2 or 3 months, you know, and turned in their list of concerns. I can't understand why it's different now, other than it's some kind of a witch hunt because it's election year.
No, we
No.
raised issues last year, Cliff.
Okay, all right, just next meeting, I want the completed audit here.
Well, we'll try to have it
With the
done.
list of concerns. All right, I'm gonna have the tail wag the dog here, okay?
We'll try to have it done.
Try hard, it's been 6 months, going on 7 months, compared to 2 or 3. I mean, either that or we can turn in the uncompleted audit, and we can turn it over to an auditing team, an outside auditing team, that can finish the audit. I mean, that's an option too. I think it is.
Not this year.
Oh, you don't, you know that for a fact? You know we can't vote to have a motion for that. Okay, I'll ask
I'm
you.
gonna call for a point of order here. All you're doing is fighting. Call Robert's Rules of Order. Let's get it done.
I agree. I agree, let's get it done.
Well, let's quit this bickering right now and continue.
I bring it up every meeting, Henry, and I hear the same answer. What do you want me to do? The residents of West
Leave them
Catania,
do their job, you do your job. Get together. I just called for a point of order of this meeting. Let's continue on and go from
your
there.
point of order is called when there's a motion on the floor.
No, I can
And
call
the
it at any
and the
time.
motion hasn't been acted on, that's when you call a point of order. But, you know, like I said, I'm trying, Henry. I mean, this is being paid by taxpayers' money in West Catania Borough. They want the audit done. Any new business? Hey, well, does anybody have any unfinished business? Okay, let's go on to new business. New business. Motion to pay the bills.
Yeah, I don't,
You can abstain, you can wait that.
yeah, I don't
I mean, until-
Who's this? Kane?
We make a motion to pay the bills with the question of the past trustees being investigated. Would that suffice it?
Yeah, I mean,
For your questions.
I mean,
So, you know, I mean, that's fair, that's fair.
Let's get
In
some
that
easy
bill,
ones.
we
yeah,
are going to be-
because it was brought up before that it was done just off, you know, just ain't won't go.
All right, motion pending the patent trustee bill to pay the bills. Is there a second?
Can we clarify, Mr. President, can we pay all the other bills?
Yes,
That
we'll pay the bills
Okay.
except for that bill.
Until further investigation.
I mean, I like that.
Yeah, well, then that's not the issue.
Yeah, why?
So we're gonna pay, so the motion is to pay all bills except for the patent trustee. So we think about that. Make that. Okay. All right. Is there a second? Come on, Mrs. Capone. All in favor?
They already paid.
Aye. Aye, and that's fine. You voted no. Three, yes, one no. And it's because of that, even though you said that, it's still. The letters be read. A motion for adjournment.
Can I just ask a question? Is there a community health center? 245 Butler Road. I don't know if that would be this road building or the Tribune Review in Pittsburgh. She called me right before I was ready to leave the house tonight. She's doing a story. And she wanted to interview me about a community health center at 245 Butler Road. And she said there are, like, the state is proposing to shut down 35 community health centers. I said, I am not aware of such a thing. And I said, if you're talking about Howard Armstrong Health Center, that's downtown Botanic.
Department of Public
There's some
Welfare had an
medical
office in
facility there. It
Scrogan.
looks like Department of Health.
If that's downtown.
No, there was one over,
Yeah, it's in West Katanning Borough, they're saying. Well, Scrooge in it? Scrooge isn't in West Katanning Borough.
It's not in the borough.
Or in Buffalo.
That building's in West.
Of course, anything along Buffalo Road, people assume
Say
it's in West Katanning Borough, even though
It's like they had a
not.
call there today and I was laughing about it.
They just closing down. I would suggest they would talk to the commissioners about our health center downtown
Yeah, that's-
Botanic, but I said, I
That's
just
not
can't
ours.
help you. I don't have any idea what you're talking
And
about,
she's-
that's what I told her.
She say about pursuing it someplace else or calling somebody, what'd she say?
All right,
These
thank you.
meetings
Thanks for nothing.
Thanks for nothing, that's all, I apologize.
What,
Did mention Bernie's name, I said Bernie's a brother.
but that's the old Scrooge stores, two
Well, I'm
forty-five?
thinking because it was erected today at 2:35.
Yeah, there
Butler,
was.
I think that was near hands and fans, so I'm thinking 2:45. There's an empty lot and then the Cedro building. And I thought, well, it could be in there, but.
We have, let's say, Department of Health had an office in that building.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Exactly what she's referring to.
Well, if they wanna pursue it any further, they can, but I doubt it. They'll eventually find out what's going on.
Yeah,
So, I'll try to find everything out.
I just want to get home.
But I told her that it's, I found it.
I have nothing to do with something.
I didn't know it was up here.
No, I ran around all day today.
Okay, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion, Mr. President.
Second by Ed, all in favor? Aye.
Hey, Hagan.
Adjourn.
Come here, here.
Henry, you want these chairs put away?
I hope you don't have to run anywhere. Okay, about a month ago,